Good afternoon and welcome to the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex. My name is Tommy Aquilina. You are watching the Fort Lee Bridgemen Athletics YouTube stream, now streaming in HD. And the Fort Lee Bridgemen baseball team just about set to go up against the Hackensack Comets. Bradley Lee on the mound for Fort Lee, looking for their 10th win of the year. The Bridgemen entered this one 9-1. Bradley Lee is pitching to Darius Pemberton, the Hackensack leadoff hitter, and he takes low, ball one. We're working on getting the scoreboard up and running for you guys. For right now, unavailable. It's a 1-0 count on Darius Pemberton. Lofts one in the air to shallow left, kind of in no man's land, and it dunks in front of Gabriel Lasval for a base hit. Blue hit for Darius Pemberton. Good start for the Comets. So leadoff man on for the Comets, who are playing a little shorthanded today. Both these teams are, actually. A few injuries on both sides. It is a battle of endurance, a baseball season. Bradley Lee deals a ball to Jose Urania, the catcher and number 2 hitter for the Comets. Right-handed batter with Pemberton a lefty. Pemberton not going anywhere, and Urania takes inside. Ball 2. Lee deals. Fouled off. Good swing at that one by Urania. Bradley Lee pitching to Luke Senator. Looking at the defense for the Bridgemen, it's Jack Dorcom at third, Luke Kim at short. As this one is grounded to second, that's Jeremiah Marrero. To short for one, to Nico Sango at first for the double play. Leadoff single is erased, and now you're familiar with the infield defense for Fort Lee. Mentioned Lasval in left, then Luke's younger brother CJ Senator in center field, and in right field is Jacob Greenberg. So 2 away, and that will bring up number 99, another right-handed batter for the Comets, Jason Bosio. And Bosio takes strike 1. That is called a ball. Bosio eyeballs it to a 1-1 count. Lee looking to face the minimum 3 batters in the first inning following that 4-6-3 double play. He deals inside. So it's now a 3-0 count on Bosio. According to NJ.com, a 300 batting average on the year for Bosio. 0 home runs, 3 RBI, and he takes low. So that should be ball 3. Yes, it is a 3-1 count, the umpire says. And Bradley Lee deals. Called strike 2 on the outside corner. So it's a full count now. Nobody on, 2 away here in the top of the first at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Lee's payoff pitch is high. That'll be ball 4. Bosio draws a 2-out walk. That will bring up Matthew Feehan, the cleanup hitter for the Comets, another right-handed batter, and one of the Comets' best hitters here on the year. Not really early in the year anymore. Fort Lee 10 games in, Hackensack 11 games into their season, as that is a called strike on the outside part of the plate. Runner on first, 2 away, now an 0-1 count on Feehan. Hackensack 6-5 on the year. Feehan takes high. It's 1-1. He leads the team, or is tied for the team lead, again according to NJ.com, with 10 hits, 3 doubles, 1 triple, 33 at-bats, and 8 runs batted in. Runner going, pitches high, Luke Senator, throw is high, and it goes into center field. His brother backing up there, that will be a stolen base for Bosio. Daring base running by Hackensack. Luke Senator has a reputation for being very good at controlling the running game. Now a runner in scoring position for Hackensack with 2 away, and Lee steps off. Fouled off. Feehan, the Hackensack first baseman, cleaning up today. A .303 batting average on the year. 0 home runs, 8 runs batted in. Runner is not going. This one is grounded weakly to second base. Jeremiah Marrero to Nico Sango, and Bradley Lee lets a couple runners on. Or whatever. He gets a couple guys on base, gets out of it. It is 0-0 after the top of the first inning. Don't go anywhere. Fort Lee is coming to bat in the bottom of the first. Back at the Sugarman Sport Complex here on a Tuesday afternoon. Fort Lee getting through the top of the first inning without allowing a run. Now Hackensack on defense. Luke Kim will lead off for the Bridgemen. He'll be followed by the Senator brothers, CJ and then Luke, and if anybody gets on, the cleanup batter today is Jack Dorcom. John B. Castillo, number 12, on the mound for the Hackensack Comets. 0-1 on the year, a 3.23 ERA, 6 strikeouts in 4 and a third innings pitched, according to NJ.com. His first pitch of the day is a called strike to Luke Kim. Luke Kim playing short today, hitting .444 on the season with 5 runs batted in, and taking low, so it is now a 1-1 count on the Fort Lee leadoff batter. We should have the scoreboard up and running soon, as Castillo is set to deal the 1-1 pitch. Drops in there for a strike. 1-2 the count. 2-2 the count. Castillo pitching to Jose Urania. Looking at the infield defense for Hackensack, it's Bocio at third, Luis Hernandez at short, Rafi Mejia at second, and Matt Feehan at first. As John B. Castillo deals low and away. Urania tried to frame it. Umpire wasn't fooled. First plate appearance of the day for Castillo goes to a full count. In the outfield, he's got A.J. Oates in left, Darius Pemberton in center, and Jacob Marmalejos in right. And this one is lofted to shallow right. Does make it out of the infield. It will be handled by Mejia, the second baseman. It's a pop-out for Luke Kim. So Kim is retired, and now Castillo will be dealing with C.J. Senator. Playing center field today, Senator enters play, hitting .353 on the season, 0 home runs, but a team-high 7 doubles, 14 runs batted in. Also leads the team in stolen bases, and here he takes strike one. It's early, but both pitchers have taken advantage of that outside part of the plate, as C.J. Senator is quickly in an 0-2 hole. Grounded into left field for a base hit. C.J. Senator will reach, as that one was out of the reach of Bocio. Frank DiLorenzo, the Hackensack head coach, is going to be looking for some length out of Castillo, so if he can keep the innings as short as possible and avoid traffic on the bases, that would obviously be even more important than normal. Again, C.J. Senator leads Fort Lee in stolen bases. He leads off first. His brother is in the batter's box. Not going. Pitches in the dirt. Throw over to first base as Senator not going anywhere. 1-0 the count on Luke Senator, who's been arguably Fort Lee's best hitter this year. Hitting .483 on the season, tied for the team lead with 7 walks as well. Leads the team with 2 home runs and with 15 runs batted in as Castillo steps off. Luke Senator having a fantastic senior year, looking to keep it going here. He's ahead in the count 1-0. Runner not going. This one is lined up the middle for a base hit. Rafi Mejia almost made a nice play at second base. It did get by him, and as CJ scampers to third, Fort Lee has runners on the corners with 1 away. Fort Lee looking for their 10th win of the year. They are 9-1. They're also looking to avenge a 7-2 loss at Hackensack last year. That was 1 year ago tomorrow, April 22nd. Runners on the corners. Castillo dealing to Jack Dorcom. That is inside. Now, even though Hackensack beat Fort Lee last year, the Bridgemen actually had a better year overall. Hackensack was 10-17 last year and 1-6 in division. Fort Lee was 17-9 overall and 6-2 in their division, the Big North American. That pitch to Dorcom was high, so it's a 2-0 count. Runners on the corners, 1 away. Middle infielders at double play depth for Hackensack. That pitch is low and away. 3-0 the count on Dorcom. Playing third base and cleaning up today for the Bridgemen. Dorcom hitting .238 on the year with 0 home runs and 3 RBI. Happy to say that we now have the scoreboard up and running for you guys. It's a 3-0 count, and that is ball 4 to Dorcom. Double play, still in play, but the bases are loaded for the Bridgemen. With 1 out, back-to-back singles by the Senators, and 1 out walk for Dorcom. That will bring up Jacob Greenberg. Fort Lee starting pitcher and right fielder. He's in right and hitting 5th today. Big RBI opportunity early in this one. And another pitch out of the zone from Castillo. Greenberg hitting just .207 on the season, but with 7 runs batted in only 10 team games. Urania unable to get the call for his pitcher. It's a 2-0 count on Greenberg. 6 straight pitches out of the zone from Castillo. Did mention before, a lot of walks. 6 in 4 and a third innings coming into this one. Greenberg in swing now mode. He fouls that pitch off. So it's a 2-1 count now. Castillo deals. Just outside. Nowhere to put Greenberg. The 3-1 pitch. Outside, he's going to put Greenberg on first. He will get a run batted in for that. It's a bases-loaded walk. CJ Senator scores, and Fort Lee has a 1-0 lead. Not the type of start that Frank DiLorenzo wanted from John B. Castillo. Still in a bases-loaded jam. Ducks on the pond, 1 away, and Fort Lee first baseman Nico Sango is the batter. Castillo deals. 1-0. Sango hitting .190 on the season, no home runs, 3 RBI. He's been hit by a pitch 6 times already. That leads the team. Swings and misses there, and it's a 1-1 count. Little bit high, says the umpire. So it's a 2-1 count now on Sango. Castillo. That's definitely a ball. And it's a 3-1 count on Sango. He's in the driver's seat. Bases loaded walk for Jacob Greenberg, a batter ago, giving him 8 runs batted in on the season. Now a 3-1 count on Sango. Castillo deals and gets that call on the outside corner. Count goes full. Sango will be more eager to swing here, and he sends this one into shallow center. Pemberton coming in. Pemberton makes the catch, tagging, and scoring is the Fort Lee lead runner. That might have been a pinch runner for Luke Senator. Either way, it's a sacrifice fly for Nico Sango. 2-0 Fort Lee. Dorcom remains at second, Greenberg at first, and now with 2 away, it will be Jeremiah Marrero, hitting 7th and playing second base today for the Bridgemen and taking strike 1. Castillo's 0-1 pitch. 1-1. So a bases-loaded walk for Jacob Greenberg, a sac fly for Nico Sango. Fort Lee has a 2-0 lead. They're looking for more. 2 on and 2 out for Marrero. And he takes low. Jeremiah Marrero hitting .364 this year in only 11 at-bats. He has 1 run batted in. They throw to second. Runner strayed too far, but honestly, Mejia was not very close to second base at all. So no harm, no foul for the Bridgemen. It remains a 2-1 count on Marrero. Castillo looking to get out of the first inning with relatively little damage done. Good frame job by Urania. 2-2 the count on Marrero. And he gets plunked. That will reload the bases. It'll also bring up Ryan Park. He's hitting 8th and DHing for Bradley Lee today. We are going to have a meeting on the mound amongst the Comets. Already the 8th batter of the inning coming up for Fort Lee. Bases juiced, 2 away. Meeting on the mound over, Castillo dealing to number 33, Ryan Park, and dealing low. Park hitting for Fort Lee's pitcher, Bradley Lee. 11 at-bats on the year. Park is 2 for 11. Takes low and is now ahead in the count 2-0. Bases loaded, 2 away. Fort Lee already up 2-0. Long set for Castillo. Now he deals a called strike. 2-1 the count on Fort Lee's number 8 hitter. Tapped down the third baseline. Foul. Bosio made a nice play there. He fielded that and stepped on third, which would have gotten that runner out. But it was a foul ball. Count levels off at 2-2. Fort Lee up by 2. Bases loaded, but there are 2 away. The Bridgemen looking to take a firm grasp of this game early on. Swing and a miss. Won't quite happen. Park strikes out, and it was a struggle, but Castillo does get through the first, only allowing 2 runs. Fort Lee 2, Hackensack 0 after 1 inning of play. Want to take a moment to shout out our proud Fort Lee Bridgemen Athletics sponsors that you see on your screen right now. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you for tuning in on a Tuesday afternoon. We'll be right back with the second inning here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Bradley Lee back out there on the mound for the top of the second inning, now working with a lead and dealing to Rafi Mejia. Fouled off. 5, 6, 7 in the Hackensack order coming up. Mejia, then it'll be Luis Hernandez, and then Jacob Marmolejos, as the Comets will look to cut into this 2-0 deficit. 6-5 on the year, Hackensack is. Fort Lee, 9-1. Lee, ahead in the count, 0-1. And another foul ball. Mejia comes into this one 4 for 16 on the year, a .250 batting average, 0 home runs, and 4 RBI. He's playing second base today. And he sends this one to deep center field. CJ Senator backing up, still backing up, leaves his feet and makes a nice play. Never even properly turned around. CJ Senator backing up and making the grab in deep center field. One away for Hackensack, and that will bring up Luis Hernandez. Playing shortstop today. Hitting 6th. And taking low from Bradley Lee. He's the only Fort Lee pitcher to lose a game this year, but Lee has pretty solid numbers. 2-1, a 1.40 ERA, 15 strikeouts on the year, and now 16 innings pitched after the first inning. This one is grounded past Dorcom at third. Ball really straddled the line. He's going for 2, and he's in there with a double. Luis Hernandez with a 2-base hit. And Hackensack has a runner in scoring position. That'll bring up the right fielder, Marmolejos. So Hernandez leads off second following his double. Lee deals high to Jacob Marmolejos. A .331 batting average on the season in just 15 at-bats. 0 home runs, but 1 triple and 1 RBI as Lee checks Hernandez back to second. Ball 2 to Marmolejos. Ball 2, or ball 3 rather, from Lee. Probably not going to greenlight Marmolejos here. Surely that's what he's looking to his third base coach for. No, definitely not going to swing at that pitch. That's ball 4. Walks have been an issue this year for Lee. 9 in 15 innings coming into play today. He has 2 walks today now. The Comets have runners on first and second with 1 out for Jude Godino. Number 6, hitting 8th, DHing for the pitcher Castillo. Lee deals. A called strike. Lee looks back at the runner at second, deals to Godino, and that's high, 1-1. Godino with the varsity team today for Hackensack. He's in a big spot here, and he takes strike 2. 1-2 the count. with 2 on and 1 away. Fort Lee leading this one 2-0. That's outside. Big lead there for Hernandez. He goes back to second. It's a 2-2 count. A strikeout here for Lee would be big. A little bit low. Tried to drop a breaking ball in there. Senator tried to frame it. We have a full count. With 1 out, I doubt the runners will be on the move. That would be really risky for manager Frank DiLorenzo. Didn't look like the runners were going, but Fort Lee wanted to make sure. Now Lee sets to deal his payoff pitch. Swing and a miss! Tied Godino up there, and that is a big strikeout. Runners don't advance, and now there's 2 away, so the infielders can get an out at any base. That'll bring up the left fielder and number 9 batter, A.J. Oates. Lee deals low. Oates almost went for it. Hitting .320 on the year for Hackensack. 4 runs batted in. Lee's 1-0 pitch is in the dirt. 1 strikeout today and 2 walks now for Bradley Lee, dealing with the number 9 batter, Oates, and then it'll be back to the top of the order and Darius Pemberton, hoping that he can make Pemberton a leadoff batter for a second time today. Good swing there by Oates, but it's strike 1. The 2-1 pitch. Grounded to second. Jeremiah Marrero makes the play, and after an inning and a half, Fort Lee leads Hackensack 2-0. Tommy Aquilina back here with you at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Bottom of the second inning underway, and that is called strike 1 to Gabriel Lasval. One of the only left-handed batters in the Fort Lee lineup today. He's hitting 9th, and he is plunked. Second hit batter for Jambi Castillo. He got Marrero before. He gets Lasval here, leadoff runner on for Fort Lee, and that sends us right back to the top of the lineup. The shortstop and leadoff batter, Luke Kim. Not yet. Kim popped out to second base to start off the bottom of the first inning. Fort Lee still wound up scoring 2 runs, and that pitch is low to Kim, 1-0. With Lasval leading off first, Kim takes strike 1. Up and in. Castillo has already thrown a lot of pitches. He's walked 2 batters plus the 2 hit batters. Lasval is going. Lasval has a stolen base. Pretty good throw there by Urania. But Gabriel Lasval swipes second. Runner in scoring position now for Luke Kim, who has 5 RBI on the season. I'm not sure if he tapped that foul or if he just swung and missed. I think he fouled it off. Either way, it's strike 2, and it's a 2-2 count with nobody out and a runner on second. The righty deals. Called strike 3. Luke Kim trying to eyeball that one. Instead, it's called strike 3. He is retired for a second time today, and with a runner on second and 1 out, that will bring up CJ Senator. The Fort Lee center fielder singled and scored last inning. That one gets away from Urania, throws to third. Lasval's in there. Score that a wild pitch. And now Senator ahead in the count, 1-0. Fort Lee looking for a 6th consecutive victory. They lead this one 2-0. They're looking for more, and CJ Senator takes high. See, now that pitch looked very similar to me to the one that Luke Kim just took for a strike. And I do think it was a strike. Here, it's a 2-0 count on CJ Senator. That one is a called strike. Sometimes pitchers will get rewarded if they show an umpire they can continue to hit a spot. 2-1 count on CJ Senator. And now the count levels at 2-2. Runner on third, 1 away, 2-2 count on Senator. His brother Luke is on deck. The Hackensack infield has been drawn in. They're dealing with some injuries, but normally, when everybody's healthy, they are led more by their pitching than by their offense. So they want to keep it 2-0. That pitch is just outside, and the count goes full. The 3-2 pitch. Shallow center, who's going to get to it. Darius Pemberton is going to get to it. Runner tags, and Lasval just draws the throw. The infield was drawn in. That was going to be a really tough play for the middle infielders, but Darius Pemberton covered a ton of ground to make the play. So 2 away now, meaning the Hackensack defense can back up. And it looks like they, I think, are going to intentionally walk Luke Senator. I believe that was an intentional walk. Senator will immediately get pinch run for. He's the Fort Lee catcher, and there are 2 outs. So a single and an intentional walk for Luke Senator. That will bring up Dorcom with runners on the corners and 2 away. How does the Fort Lee cleanup hitter respond to Fort Lee pitching around to get to him? Pitch is way outside, so it's a 1-0 count now on Dorcom, who walked in the first inning. Ball 2. Neither one was very close. Urania keeps the runners put, though. First and third, 2 outs, but Dorcom's in the driver's seat, 2-0. Didn't like the look of that one, and neither did the home plate umpire. 3-0 count on the Fort Lee cleanup hitter. There is a base open. Let's see if he has the green light. He did not. That pitch also barely clipped the inside corner. So it's a 3-1 count now on Dorcom. Should be ready to put his A swing on this one. Called strike 2. Dorcom thought it might have been a little bit high. He takes it, and from 3-0 to 3-2. The runner at first will get a head start with 2 outs. And the payoff pitch. Inside, ball 4. So Dorcom doesn't lift the bat off his shoulders after the intentional walk to Luke Senator. Dorcom draws a walk. The bases are loaded with 2 outs, and we're going to have another meeting on the mound. Let's see if Castillo stays in this one. Castillo will, in fact, stay in this game. He is dealing with Greenberg. And that's strike 1. Greenberg gave Fort Lee the lead last inning by drawing a walk with the bases loaded. Now it's 2-0. He has another RBI opportunity, but he swings right over the top of that one. So Castillo having a hard time finding the zone. Now he's way out in front of Greenberg, 0-2. And Castillo deals. That one's way outside. 1-2 the count on Greenberg. Castillo slowing things down a little bit. Now ready to deal. Fouled off by Greenberg, who picked up his 8th run batted in of the year with that bases loaded walk in the first. Swing and a miss. Castillo has had ducks on the pond all day long, but he's kind of bared down. It's only 2-0 Fort Lee after 2 innings of play. Don't go anywhere. The 3rd inning is coming right up. We are back here at the Sugarman Sport Complex for the top of the 3rd inning. You see our scoreboard now in the lower right-hand corner. Bridgemen 2, Comets nothing. Darius Pemberton leading off for a 2nd time today. He led off the game with a single. He was quickly erased on a double play. Now here in the 3rd inning, Bradley Lee deals way inside. Pemberton hitting .345 with 5 runs batted in on the season coming into this one. Coming into this one, NJ.com had him leading the team or tied for the team lead in hits, triples, hit by pitches, stolen bases, and runs scored. Now has a team high 11 hits. Swings and misses there, making it a 2-1 count. Pemberton, Urania, and Bosio for Hackensack here in the 3rd. Big swing and a miss there, and the count goes to 2-2. One time through the order, Bradley Lee has walked 2 and struck out 1. No runs allowed in the first 2 innings. Looking to retire the leadoff batter here, and that pitch is high and away. A full count on Pemberton. That's upstairs. Ball 4 to Pemberton. And so the dangerous Pemberton is on first to lead off the 3rd inning. Like I said, he was erased on a double play back in the first. That was a 4-6-3 double play banged into by the current batter, Jose Urania, catching and hitting second today for Frank DiLorenzo's squad. Breaking ball dropped in there, clipping the inside corner for strike one. Lee's 0-1. Lined into left field. That's a base hit. It's going to go down the line. Pemberton flying around the bases. He'll score easily. It's an RBI double for Urania, and the Fort Lee lead's been cut in half. That will give Urania 2 runs batted in on the season. Fort Lee now leads this one 2-1, and the Comets have a runner in scoring position with nobody out. It's going to be a pinch runner for Urania. Meanwhile, Bosio is the batter. Bosio takes inside. He walked and stole a base in the first inning. A hit here likely ties this game. Outside, 2-0. Fouled off. 2-1 count. Runner on second, nobody out. Odd-looking foul ball there. It's a 2-2 count. Fort Lee leading 2-1. Lee checks the runner. Deals the 2-2. On a hop. Nice play by Marrero. He'll complete it by making the throw to first. That's a highlight reel play for Marrero, starting at second base today. Bosio is retired 4-3. Urania's pinch runner does advance from second to third. But Marrero probably kept Fort Lee in the lead there. Nevertheless, it's a productive out for Bosio. That'll bring up Matthew Feehan, the cleanup hitter for Hackensack. Fort Lee infield is in. First pitch to Feehan is ball one. He grounded out to second base in the first inning. Marrero has gotten all kinds of action at second, and he's handled himself well. That pitch is low, now a 2-0 count on Feehan. Tying run 90 feet away here in the top of the third inning. Pitch bounces up there. Feehan clearly wants to swing, but he's eyeballed it to a 3-0 count. Not swinging 3-0 and taking ball 4. It's a 4-pitch walk, and Hackensack now has runners on the corners with 1 out, although that does set up the double play. So you'll probably see Marrero and Kim go to double play depth, with Sango and Dorcom covering the runners. Luke Senator has a quick chat with his pitcher. Again, you're just 1 double play ground ball away from getting out of this one. The batter is Rafi Mejia, who's 0 for 1. That pitch is low. Runner at first not going. It's a 1-0 count on Mejia. It's a 2-0 count on Mejia. Wind picking up a little bit here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. A pleasant, if chilly, Tuesday afternoon. And now we're going to have a meeting on the mound. Pete Kraljic definitely seeing something he doesn't like. Fort Lee up 2-1. There are runners on the corners with 1 out, and we are in the middle of a plate appearance right now. It's a 2-0 count on Mejia. Head coach Pete Kraljic heads back to the dugout. Again, a 2-0 count on Mejia. Lee deals. Inside, ball 3. And so it does wind up being a 4-pitch walk. No, it doesn't. Mejia tossed his bat, but that was a called strike. So it's a 3-1 count. Mejia still in a hitter's count. Takes strike 2. That pitch definitely had plate, and it's now a full count. I wonder if Frank DiLorenzo will send the runner. That would push the envelope a little bit. Does not send the runner. Poked up the middle. Gets by Luke Kim. We're tied at 2. So rather than a walk, Mejia has a game-tying RBI single. Now runners on first and second with 1 out. For the Comets, this is Luis Hernandez. He doubled his first time up. Takes called strike 1. It's a new game. Lee now trying to keep us tied. That is outside. 1-1 the count on Hernandez. Grounded to third. Dorcom bobbles. Everybody safe. Good base running there by Feehan to make it to third. An opportunity there for Dorcom to get the lead runner. He does not, and so the bases are loaded with just 1 away. Score that in E5 on Dorcom. So now it's Feehan at third, Mejia at second, Hernandez at first, and Jacob Marmalejos is the batter with the bases loaded against Bradley Lee. Called strike at the knees. Marmalejos did draw a walk his first time up. Now hitting here with the bases loaded. Lee drops a breaking ball in there for strike 2. Ahead in the count 0-2, but there's still just 1 away. Lee deals. Up the middle. Base hit. 1 run in. Hackensack will go base to base. It's a go-ahead RBI single for Jacob Marmolejos. Bases remain loaded. Feehan scores the go-ahead run. Bases now loaded with 1 away, and Jude Godino at the plate. Shows bunt. Bunts it foul. Oh, 1 the count on Godino. He is Lee's only strikeout victim so far today. Lee could really use a strikeout here. Outside, so a 1-1 count now on Godino, the DH and number 8 batter. Taps that one to second. Marrero will go to first for the out. A run will score. That's a ribby ground out for Godino. Mejia scores. Hernandez advances to third. Marmolejos to second. It's now 4-2 Hackensack. And with 2 away and runners on second and third, A.J. Oates is the batter. And Oates fouls that one off. So an RBI double for Urania, a game-tying single for Mejia, a go-ahead RBI single for Marmolejos, and an RBI groundout for Godino. 4 runs here in the 3rd inning for the Comets. Lee not out of the woods, and he deals, I guess we'll call that high, to a crouching A.J. Oates. 1-1 the count. Swing and a miss. 1-2 the count. This one is grounded to third, foul. Count remains 1-2, with runners on second and third and 2 out. A 2-run deficit has turned into a 2-run lead for Hackensack. Lee deals. Fouled off. Oates chased the high cheese, but was able to get a piece of it. So he hangs in there. Still a 1-2 count. Oates grounded out to second his first time up to end the 2nd inning. Now he is the 9th batter to come to the plate here in the 3rd inning. Takes low and away. Count evens at 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. We'll do it again. Lee set to do it again. That's inside. Spins Oates around. Count goes full. Runners will get a head start as there are 2 outs and a 3-2 count. On the number 9 batter. Lee deals. Popped foul. Another payoff pitch on the way. And we're going to have another one. Oates and Lee battling here with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Ball 4. Oates draws the walk after a very good plate appearance, and that will bring up Pemberton again. Hackensack has batted around here in the 3rd inning. Pemberton hitting for a 3rd time here in the 3rd inning. He takes low. Senator throws to second. Almost got the runner. That's a big lead for a runner who's not the lead runner. There's a guy on 3rd. There's nowhere for him to go. Luke Senator almost caught him sleeping. But Lee not out of the woods. A 1-0 count on Pemberton. Now a 2-0 count on Pemberton, who is 1 for 1 with a walk and a run. Lee set to deal the 2-0. Clips the outside corner. The 2-1 is swung on and missed. So now Lee is a strike away from getting out of this jam. A 2-0 lead has turned into a 4-2 deficit for the Bridgemen. Lee deals low. Runners can't go anywhere, but it's now a full count on Pemberton, and obviously there's nowhere to put him. So Lee needs to deal a strike to the dangerous Hackensack leadoff batter. And he does! Clips the lower outside corner. That gets Lee out of the 3rd, but not before the Comets put up a 4 spot. We'll head to the bottom of the 3rd inning. Hackensack 4, Fort Lee 2. Tommy Aquilina back here with you at the Sugarman Sport Complex. John B. Castillo pitching with a lead for the first time today. Sango, Marrero, Park in the Fort Lee order. 6, 7, 8. And that's inside to Sango. Nico Sango really is a ball magnet, but he does not get hit by that pitch. Just ahead in the count, 1-0. Castillo set to deal following a long layoff, as that was a rather lengthy top of the third inning. Don't even want to say it might make him rusty, though, because he's had a hard time finding the strike zone all afternoon. Down in the count 2-0 and make it 3-0 on Sango. A sac fly in the first inning. Fort Lee scored 2 in the first. They put runners on in the second, but did not add to their lead, and now they trail by 2 here in the third. Castillo deals. Outside, ball 4. So Sango will reach on a walk, if you include the intentional walk by Luke Senator. That is the 5th walk handed out by Castillo. And I think it's going to be his last, as we're going to have a pitching change. Hackensack will, in fact, bring in a new pitcher with 1 on and nobody out here in the third inning. The new pitcher for Hackensack is Luis Hernandez. Was at short. Now you see number 20 at short. Hernandez on the mound. This one is tapped to third, foul by Marrero. Number 20 is Mejia. So he takes over at short. A new catcher. I believe that's Josbaldi Santos for Hackensack. Now Marrero showing bunt and taking strike 2. So down in the count 0-2. Not going to be bunting here. Marrero was plunked the only time he faced Castillo. That pitch is outside, so it's a 1-2 count on Marrero with Sango leading off first, following his leadoff walk. Inside to Marrero, 2-2 count. Luis Hernandez has good numbers on the year for Hackensack, a 0.34 ERA, and 38 strikeouts in 20 and a third innings. He'll add another strikeout here. Marrero is gone looking. That'll bring up Ryan Park, the DH. 1 out and 1 on now for the Bridgemen. Hernandez deals low. Now 39 strikeouts on the year in 20 and 2/3 innings. Both of those figures lead Hackensack pitchers. Swing and a miss by Park. 1-1 count. With the number 9 batter, Gabriel Lasval, on deck. Another swing and a miss. 1-2 the count. Luis Hernandez looking like a man on a mission early on here in the third. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. 3 very similar pitches back to back to back. Park strikes out for a second time today, and there are now 2 away with a runner on first. That'll bring up Gabriel Lasval. Hit by a pitch his first time up, he then stole a base. He'll bat here against a different right-handed pitcher with 2 on, or 2 out and 1 on, and he'll take strike 1. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. Quickly, 0-2. That's low. Gets by Santos. Sango on his way to second. He's in there. That's a wild pitch. So a runner in scoring position now for Lasval as Fort Lee trails by 2. It's a 1-2 count. Luis Hernandez dealing the 1-2, fouled off by Lasval. Nico Sango walking against Castillo, knocking him out of the game. Advancing to second on a wild pitch, but there are 2 away now. Hernandez deals high. Count goes to 2-2. The Hackensack righty deals. Called strike 3. Comes on with 1 on and nobody out and strikes out the side. We will head to the 4th inning. Hackensack 4, Fort Lee 2. Tommy Aquilina back here with you at the Dr. Allen W. Sugarman Sports Complex here in Fort Lee, New Jersey. Fort Lee baseball team trailing Hackensack 4-2 as we head to the fourth inning. Bradley Lee's day is done. He goes 3 innings, gives up 4 runs, all in the third. He's on the hook for the loss right now. The new Fort Lee pitcher is right-hander number 16, James Aino. Long set for Aino. Everybody's ready now, and he deals strike 1 to Jose Urania. Grounded to short. On a hop, Luke Kim guns out Urania, who is now 1 for 3. One out here in the top of the fourth inning. That'll bring up Jason Bosio. Aino deals low. 1-0 the count on Bosio. The count on Bosio, as Hackensack will now look to do what Fort Lee could not, expand their relatively small lead. The 2-0. Home plate umpire says that one's low. So a 3-0 count. Let's see if Bosio has the green light. Negative. Takes a strike, and it's a 3-1 count. Bosio 0 for 1 with a walk and a stolen base today. Aino deals. This one is grounded up the middle. Marrero can't quite get to that one. It's a single for Bosio. And with 1 on and 1 out, that'll bring up Matthew Feehan. Aino entering play today. 1-0 on the season for Fort Lee. A 6 ERA as he has allowed 6 earned runs in exactly 7 innings. Now after, so far, 7 1/3 innings so far today. That pitch is low. Aino, 8 strikeouts, 5 walks in 7 innings coming into this one. Now dealing with Feehan. Fouled off. 1-1 the count on the Comets' number 3 hitter. Feehan 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Runner going. Pitch is swung on and missed. Senator. And good job there by Marrero to keep that ball from going into the outfield. Stolen base for Bosio, his second of the day. That'll put a runner in scoring position with 1 away. It is a 1-2 count on the Hackensack cleanup hitter. Now it's a 2-2 count. Runner not going. Mejia is on deck. His RBI single last inning tied the game at 2. This one is grounded to second. It'll get past Marrero. Runner rounding third. And he will score. RBI single for Feehan. Jacob Greenberg's throw was good, but not good enough. Hackensack takes a 5-2 lead. So that'll bring up Mejia. 1 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored. And he'll now bat with a runner on first and one away. Mejia started the game at second base, then moved to short when Luis Hernandez went to the mound. Takes called strike one. Runner not going, Mejia not swinging, and that's ball one. Hackensack up by 3 runs now. The 1-1 pitch from Aino. Swing and a miss. Wild swing there by Mejia. And did he already have 2 strikes? I guess he did. That's strike 3. So Mejia strikes out swinging, and that will bring up Hernandez, who's now the pitcher. And he flails at that one. Hernandez a double his first time up, then he reached on an error by Dorcom at third. Aino's 0-1 pitch. Sent in the air, towards left, fair or foul, it is a foul ball. And an 0-2 count on Hernandez. Luis Hernandez trying to help out his own cause now as he's on the mound. Hitting here with a runner on first and 2 away. Aino deals. Swing and a miss. Hernandez spins himself around. He is retired, but Hackensack does extend their lead from 4-2 to 5-2. We are halfway through this one. Want to thank our proud Fort Lee Bridgemen athletic sponsors. Thank you for tuning in on a Tuesday. Again, halfway through, Fort Lee trails Hackensack 5-2. Luis Hernandez out for a second inning of work. Hackensack now leading Fort Lee by 3 runs as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Still plenty of time for Fort Lee. but they've now gone back-to-back innings without scoring. They do have the top of the order here. Luke Kim, CJ Senator, and Luke Senator. So Kim leading off in the first inning, and here in the fourth inning, he is 0 for 2. Luis Hernandez came on in relief and struck out the side in the third inning. That was high and away, so ball 2. The 2-0 pitch. Sent in the air to left, and making the play out in left field is number 25. Who was that? That was Oates. So now we'll see what the Senator brothers can do against Luis Hernandez. First, it'll be CJ. 1 for 2 with a run scored. Swinging at the first pitch, he fouls it away. 0-1 the count. And Hernandez just going to use that same baseball. The 0-1. Ball 1. Fouled off. Hernandez working very quickly. Very defensive swing there by Senator, but he stays alive. Smiles all around, the pitcher, the batter, and the catcher. Hernandez has looked fantastic so far. Another 1-2 pitch. Blows it right by CJ Senator. Fourth strikeout for Hernandez. He's faced 5 batters. That'll bring up Luke Senator. A single and a run scored and an intentional walk for the Fort Lee catcher. And he takes high, ball 1. Hitting here with 2 outs and nobody on. In the fourth inning, Fort Lee led 2-0. They now trail 5-2. That'll make it 1-1. That pitch from Hernandez is upstairs, 2-1. Count will level at 2-2. Hernandez getting right back after it. That's outside. Frame job does not get the call, and it goes to a full count. Good battle here between Hernandez and Luke Senator. The senior Fort Lee catcher takes ball 4. He'll reach for a third time today. I actually don't believe they're pinch running for him. So he's at first with Jack Dorcom in the batter's box. A couple walks so far today, and he takes high. Hernandez steps off. And here is his 1-1 pitch, or his 1-0 pitch, I should say. Low. 2-0 on Dorcom. Throw over to first. Luke Senator gets back. Now runner going. Pitch is fouled away. Little hit and run action for Fort Lee. But it's going to be a 2-1 count, and Senator will have to head back to first. Good speed, especially for a catcher. Hernandez is 2-1. Fouled off again as the runner was not going there. So 2-2 the count. Another throw over to first. Really good job by Feehan at first, not letting that throw get away from him. Saves his pitcher an error, and now Hernandez set to deal. That's low and away. Good stop by the Hackensack backstop. The count goes full. (3-2) with 2 outs. Luke Senator will get a running start. Hernandez deals. Called strike 3. 2 strikeouts this inning for Luis Hernandez. We'll head to the 5th with Fort Lee still trailing Hackensack by 3. You're watching the Fort Lee Athletics stream on YouTube, streaming in HD. Fort Lee led 2-0. They now trail Hackensack 5-2 as James Zaino is out there for a second inning of work. It's the top of the fifth. Gets a swing and a miss from Jacob Marmalejos. The leadoff batter here in the fifth, 7-8-9 for the Comets, looking to improve to 7-5 on the year. That pitch to Marmalejos is low. He is 1 for 1 with an RBI and a walk. Zaino deals a foul ball. So 1-2 the count on the Hackensack right fielder. A little bit high. 2-2 the count. Swing and a miss. Zaino gets that one by Marmalejos. He's retired for the first time today, and Zaino has struck out 3 straight batters. The final line on Bradley Lee, who is on the hook for the loss right now. 3 innings pitched, 4 runs allowed on 5 hits, 5 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Zaino allowed 1 run last inning. Now, with 1 out and nobody on, showing bunt and fouling it off is Jude Godino. Playing with Varsity today, DHing and hitting 8th. He is 0 for 2 with an RBI. An RBI groundout against Lee. Now facing Zaino, he takes a called strike on the lower outside corner. So down in the count, 0-2. Called strike 3. A 4th consecutive strikeout for Zaino. Now he'll deal with the Hackensack number 9 hitter. Oates is 0 for 1 with a walk. Foul ball. Zaino's 0-1 is low and away. 1-1 the count on the Hackensack left fielder and number 9 batter. Shows bunt. That was about as good of a bunt attempt as Godino's, and it's a 1-2 count. And Zaino set to deal the 1-2. He'll do it again. Grounded past Zaino. Marrero coming in. Fields throws on a hop. Let's give Oates an infield single there. So following the 2-out single, Darius Pemberton will be the batter. Pemberton is 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Lines this one past Marrero into center field. CJ Senator can't cut it off. It gets by him. The runner, expecting to stop at second, he's being waved home, and he will score. Probably score that a single or a double for Pemberton, and then an E8, allowing a run to score and allowing Pemberton to go all the way to third. It's 6-2 Hackensack. Not even sure if you give Pemberton an RBI on that one, because frankly, if the ball doesn't get by Senator, I don't think the runner scores. But Oates does in fact go from first to home, and Hackensack has now scored 6 unanswered. Pemberton now at third, and a 1-0 count on Jose Urania. The Hackensack catcher fouls that one off. He is 1 for 3 with a double, an RBI, and a run scored. Aino deals. Drops it in there for a strike. 1-2 the count. And that's called strike 3. So Aino strikes out the side, but in the middle of it, gives up a couple hits. And a costly error by CJ Senator makes it 6-2 Hackensack after 4.5 innings. You see our proud Fort Lee Bridgemen Athletics sponsors on your screen right now. Want to thank them. Want to thank you for tuning in on what is now a Tuesday evening. We'll be right back. Fort Lee trailing Hackensack by 4. We're back at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Big swinging strike there from Jacob Greenberg. Greenberg down in the count 0-1 to Luis Hernandez. Now it's 1-1. Hernandez came on with nobody out in the third. Didn't allow a run in the third or fourth. Now dealing here in the fifth with a 4-run advantage. Greenberg takes inside. 5, 6, 7 due up here in the bottom of the fifth for Fort Lee. Greenberg, Sango, and Marrero. Fort Lee unable to expand upon what was a 2-run lead. They let Hackensack get back in it, and now Hackensack has expanded their lead to 4. This one is grounded to second. Good recovery there by the Hackensack second baseman. 4-3 ground out for Greenberg. There's one away, and that'll bring up Nico Sango. A sac fly and a walk so far today for the Fort Lee first baseman. His walk knocked Jambi Castillo out of the game, and then with one on and nobody out, Hernandez came in and struck out the next 3 batters. Ball 1 to Sango. Grounded off the glove of the Hackensack third baseman. Goes all the way to center field. Wow, what a weird hop that took. Very strange hop. To me, that's a single for Sango. Either way, he reaches. Fort Lee needs base runners. They have 8 outs to erase this 4-run deficit. So Marrero will bat with Sango on first and 1 away. Marrero hit by a pitch his first time up, and then a strikeout looking his last time up. He was the first batter to face Hernandez. So 0 for 1 against him, 0 for 1 with a hit by pitch overall. Throw to first. Sango wasn't really going anywhere. It's a 1-0 count on Marrero, who calls time. The 1-0 pitch. Honestly, Urania might have gotten the call if he'd been able to hold on to that one. Could not handle it, and it's a 2-0 count on Marrero. And I think we might have had a balk there. So Sango advances to second. Still a 2-0 count on Marrero. Now a runner in scoring position for him. And he grounds this one foul. So now it's a 2-1 count with a runner on second. Fort Lee trying to at least chip away at what has grown to a 4-run deficit. Sent into center field, base hit for Marrero. Runners on the corners now and 1 away for the Bridgemen. Ryan Park will be the batter. He is the Fort Lee designated hitter today. We have a meeting on the mound. Park has struck out both times up today. Park, 2 for 13 on the season, looking for his first run batted in of the year. This would be a big spot for it. Runners on the corners and 1 away. Hackensack has scored 6 unanswered. First pitch to Park is low. Hernandez deals, and this one is lofted to right. Marmolejos settles under it. He makes the play. Sango does score from third. It's a sac fly for Ryan Park, and Fort Lee now trails 6-3. So now a runner on first and 2 away for the Fort Lee number 9 batter. Gabe Lasval, I should say, hit by a pitch, a stolen base, and a strikeout as he fouls that one away. So Fort Lee trades a run for an out. That is Park's first run batted in of the season, as Hernandez throws over to first. Marrero not going anywhere. Fort Lee now trailing by 3, and even if Lasval is retired here, you still have the top of your order coming up next inning. And Lasval is, in fact, retired. Fort Lee gets 1 run back. Nico Sango reaches on a single. He scores on the Ryan Park sac fly. We will head to the 6th inning with Hackensack leading this one by 3. Top of the 6th inning, about to get underway. James Aino dealing to Bosio. He sends this one to shallow left. Lasval can't make the play. That'll be a leadoff single for Jason Bosio. He is now 2 for 3 with a walk. He's also stolen 2 bases. So a dangerous base runner on that Aino will now have to deal with. And he'll be pitching to Matt Feehan. 1 for 2 with an RBI, a walk, and a run scored so far today. Runner not going. First pitch swinging, sent to center field. Right center, over CJ Senator's head. 1 hops the fence. It is a ground rule double. That'll put runners on second and third with nobody out. It'll bring up Rafi Mejia, who is 1 for 3 with an RBI and a run scored. Hackensack trying to pad their lead late. Fort Lee already down to their final 6 outs. They did get 1 run back last inning. Hackensack trying to take it back. Aino deals. Grounded to short. They'll trade an out for a run. It's a ribby ground out for Mejia. Bosio scores for the second time today. Hackensack has a 4-run lead again. It's 7-3. Feehan advanced, so he's now on third with 1 out, as it's now an 0-1 count on Hernandez. Hernandez is 1 for 3 with a double. Fouls that pitch off. Hernandez trying to help himself out with a runner on third and 1 away. Aino is ahead in the count, 0-2. And that's ball 1. Aino looks in and gets the sign, and his 1-2 pitch. Low. Count levels off at 2-2. Hernandez struck out his last time up. Aino deals. Low and in. So a full count now on Hernandez. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. Second straight strikeout for Hernandez against Aino. He hasn't been the sharpest today, but Aino is racking up the Ks. Still not out of the woods, though, here in the 6th. Jacob Marmolejo struck out his last time up. Still 1 for 2 with an RBI and a walk. Marmolejo's batting with a runner on third and 2 gone. He takes called strike 1. Aino's 0-1. Swung on and missed. And the 0-2. Ball 1. Check swing there from Marmolejos. Looking to find a way to drive in a run that would give Hackensack their biggest lead today. But instead, Aino drops in strike 3. He strikes out Hernandez twice. He strikes out Marmolejos twice. But he does allow a run here in the 6th inning. So Hackensack, back up by 4, will go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Fort Lee has 6 outs to erase a 4-run deficit. So we head to the bottom of the 6th. Luis Hernandez is still out there. And he deals low to the Fort Lee leadoff batter. Leadoff batter for the 6th inning and leadoff batter for the game. Luke Kim getting a 4th plate appearance, and he taps that one foul. Luke Kim hitting .444 on the season coming into this one. He is 0 for 3 today while playing shortstop. One, two, three in the Fort Lee order, probably their last best chance to get back in this one. High, ball 2. Only one loss so far this year for Fort Lee at Westwood back on April 10th. Since then, they've won 5 in a row. They trail Hackensack by 4. Kim is ahead in the count 3-1. Luke Kim, CJ Senator, and then Luke Senator. And Hernandez's 3-1 pitch. Count goes full. Swing and a miss. Put out is made 2-3. Luke Kim is 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. That'll bring up the younger Senator brother. 1 for 3 with a run scored. Swing and a miss. Hernandez continues to deal here in the 6th inning. Came on with nobody out in the 3rd. That pitch is low, so a 1-1 count on the Fort Lee center fielder. Upstairs, 2-1 the count. Strike 2. Since coming on in the 3rd, Hernandez has struck out 6. That pitch is low and away, so the count goes full on CJ Senator. And that's ball 4. So one of the speedier Fort Lee base runners reaches, and that'll bring up Luke Senator, who has yet to be retired. 1 for 1 with a couple walks. I doubt CJ Senator will be going. You can't be making outs on the bases. Down by 4 this late in the game. But there is speed on the bases. And Luke Senator is now ahead in the count 1-0. 1-1 the count now on the Fort Lee catcher. Grounded, backhanded by the shortstop. Could not handle it. Probably be scored an infield single for Luke Senator. Meeting on the mound, that is all from Luis Hernandez. What a job. He really did pitch well, but he will exit with 2 on and 1 out. Both those runners are his responsibility. Jack Dorcom will bat with Fort Lee trailing by 4 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Jason Bosio already in the game, now into the game as a pitcher. Luis Hernandez goes back to shortstop. And Bosio starting the game at third. Now he is Frank DiLorenzo's third pitcher, and he's dealing with Jack Dorcom. 2 on and 1 out. He has a 4-run lead to work with. Grounded to second. They flip to second and don't get the out. Hernandez thought he was going to take it himself, realized he was too far away to do that, flipped it to his second baseman, but the flip pulled him off the bag. So everybody is safe. Realistically, that should be a fielder's choice and an E6. So Hernandez not helping himself out in the field. The bases are loaded, and the tying run is at the dish for Fort Lee in the person of Jacob Greenberg. Ready to go is Greenberg. Fouls that first pitch off. 0-1 the count. 1 out. Bases loaded. Hackensack leads by 4. Again, Greenberg the tying run. He is 0 for 2 with a bases loaded walk. Takes upstairs there. I think this is the 3rd time today that Greenberg is hitting with the bases loaded. Bosio deals. Grounded to second. Again, Hernandez for 1. That's all they're going to get. So that will be a fielder's choice. Score that 6-4. 1 run will score. So Greenberg does get an RBI there. That was CJ Senator who scored. Greenberg has 2 RBI today. Runners now at the corners with 2 away. Also, Fort Lee does shrink the deficit. They trail 7-4 as Nico Sango takes a pitch outside. Sango, 1 for 1 with a walk, a sacrifice fly, and a run scored. Takes upstairs. 2-0 the count now. On the Fort Lee first baseman. Bosio deals. Swing and a miss. Two on the count on Sango. He is the tying run. Takes low. 3-1 the count now on Sango. Should be sitting dead red here. Bosio deals. Outside, ball 4. So things getting very interesting here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Sango has now reached base 3 times and an RBI the other time up. And the bases are now loaded for the Bridgemen. There are 2 outs, but the tying run is at first base. Jeremiah Marrero is the go-ahead run. Bosio deals. Marrero fouls it off. He's 1 for 2 with a hit by pitch. Again, Marrero, the go-ahead run. Upstairs. 1-1 the count with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Bosio. Swing and a miss. Good off-speed pitch from number 99 for Hackensack. And the 1-2. Bounces up there. 2-2. Again, nowhere to put Marrero. Time is called by the home plate umpire. It's a 2-2 count on Marrero. 2 outs, bases loaded, and Sango at first base represents the tying run. Bosio deals. Full count. So, with 3-2 and 2 outs, the runners will get a head start. Pivotal spot in this game. The payoff pitch. Called strike 3. Marrero takes a breaking ball that catches a large part of the plate. Fort Lee gets 1, but they will trail by 3 as we head to the 7th inning. Top of the 7th inning underway. Hackensack 7, Fort Lee 4. We have a pinch hitter for Jude Godino, who was DHing today. Godino went 0 for 3 with 1 RBI. James Zaino is still pitching. He's behind in the count to this pinch hitter, 2-0. And there's a called strike. Grounded to second. Backhanded by Marrero. Goes down to one knee. Can't quite make the play. Looked good, but developed a little slowly for Marrero. Let's call that an infield single. And that will be a single for number 3 on Hackensack. The Comets playing a lot of different guys today, dealing with some injuries. Both teams actually a little short-handed today. This is A.J. Oates hitting with one on and nobody out. Hackensack's number 9 batter is 1 for 2 with a walk, showing bunt and popping it up. I think a lot of, not just kids these days, but even professional baseball players don't realize you're supposed to just let the ball, or let the bat rather, catch the ball. A lot of stabbing at balls, which leads to a lot of pop-ups. Aino throws back to first. They wanted to see if Oates would show bunt. He didn't. My guess is that Frank DiLorenzo took off the bunt sign after witnessing that first attempt, but we'll see. No, they're keeping it on, and he pops it up again. More bunting drills might be in the future for Hackensack. Meanwhile, Oates is down in the count 0-2. My guess is they'll take the bunt off now, because if you foul off a bunt attempt with 2 strikes, it is a strikeout. Not bunting, throwing to first. Senator does not get the runner. It's now a 1-2 count on Oates. Called strike 3. Not bunting there, not swinging either. Oates is retired. Another strikeout for James Aino. Now we'll go back to the top of the order. Darius Pemberton getting a 5th plate appearance. He is 2 for 3 with a double, an RBI, a walk, and a run scored. Runner going. Senator to second. Got him! My, oh my, Luke Senator. Two 6 on the caught stealing. Another game, another runner thrown out by Senator. Now Pemberton batting with nobody on and 2 out and taking low. That pitch is fouled off. And I believe that makes it a 2-1 count. I believe the pitch was a ball before Senator threw out the runner. No, it was a strike. And on the 1-2 pitch, Pemberton strikes out swinging. So a scoreless top of the 7th inning. Fort Lee one last chance against Hackensack in the bottom of the 7th. So we're just about set for the bottom of the 7th inning. Last licks coming up for Fort Lee. The Bridgemen trailing the Comets of Hackensack 7-4. That pitch is low to Ryan Park. Bosio's still out there, and when he came on, the tying run was on deck, so he would technically, not even technically, this is a save situation, and he would get a save if he's able to get 3 outs here before Fort Lee scores 3 runs. Park is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts and a sacrifice fly. That was his first run batted in of the season. It's a 2-1 count now against the Fort Lee DH. 8-9-1 due up for the Bridgemen. Park sends this one to right. Base hit. Marmolejos throwing in the general direction of first base. There's a timeline where he had a possibility to get Park out there, but it is, in fact, a leadoff single for the Fort Lee number 8 batter. The Bridgemen need base runners. Park is going to get pinch run for. He'll jog off the field. That will bring up Gabe Lasval. 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch and a stolen base. Then it's the top of the order. So some drama building here at the Sugarman Sport Complex in Fort Lee. Ball low to Lasval. One 0 the count. Pinch runner not going. Bosio deals a strike as Lasval fouls it off. That's low. And a 2-1 count to Lasval. Hackensack hoping to hang on and beat Fort Lee just like they did last year. Fort Lee looking for a comeback and a 6th consecutive win. That is a called strike on the outside corner to Lasval. Count levels at 2-2. Time is called. Now Bosio is set. Sent into shallow right center. No one can get there. Can the pinch runner reach second? Yes, he can. Gets there just in time. Had to go halfway because obviously if it was caught, you don't want to get doubled up. Almost got caught even with it dunking in, but instead, Fort Lee, they might have gotten lucky a couple times, but they have back-to-back singles. So Lasval now 1 for 3 with a hit by pitch. And that sends us to the top of the Bridgemen order. Luke Kim, one of the Bridgemen best hitters on the year. He's 0 for 4 today. Struck out his last time up. He's the tying run. Lined past the second baseman. They're sending the pinch runner. He will score. Lasval goes to third. An RBI single for Luke Kim. It's 7-5 Hackensack. Runners on the corners now with nobody out. So the tying run is now on base. CJ Senator at the dish. 1 for 3 with a walk and a couple runs. Middle infielders playing at double play depth for Hackensack. They would love to trade 2 outs for a run right here. Called strike to Senator. Luke Senator is on deck. That's upstairs. 1-1 the count. just outside, and a 2-1 count. Hackensack leading this one 7-5 now. CJ Senator represents the go-ahead run. He shoots this one into right. That's a base hit. To the fence. Marmolejo's throwing in. They hold up the runner. CJ was ready to go all the way to third, and now they have him held up. Now they have the lead runner held up. He is eventually tagged out, but CJ Senator does make it to third. So, score that an RBI double, and then the lead runner gets into a pickle and is retired. That's Luke Kim. Lasval scored. So the tying run is at third base now in the form of CJ Senator. His brother Luke Senator is hitting. Hackensack brings the infield in. They do lead by 1, and there is now 1 away. That pitch is outside to Luke Senator. Bosio deals the 1-0. Tapped to short. Nowhere for CJ Senator to go. Luis Hernandez throws out Luke Senator. Humongous out for Hackensack. They're 1 out away from a victory. Obviously now the infielders can all back up and play this thing straight up. Jack Dorcom is the batter for the Bridgemen. 0 for 1 with a couple walks, reached on an error by Hernandez his last time up. Bosio's first pitch to Dorcom is a called strike. Tying run on third base. 2 outs. 1-run game. 0-1 the count on Dorcom, the Fort Lee cleanup hitter today. Grounded up the middle, gets past the second baseman. Game-tying RBI single for Jack Dorcom with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th. Fort Lee comes all the way back. We're knotted at 7 in the bottom of the 7th inning. CJ Senator scores. Now this one is sent into right field. It is caught by the Hackensack second baseman. Greenberg pops out to second, score that F4, and we're going to have extra innings here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. 7-7 after 7 innings. We'll be right back with the top of the 8th. extra innings here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Fort Lee battles back and scores 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning to tie this one up at 7. So the Bridgemen of Fort Lee and the Comets of Hackensack go to the 8th inning. James Aino can't handle that one, and it's going to be an infield single for Jose Urania. A leadoff single here in the 8th inning for Urania. Aino back out there for a 5th inning of work. Urania now 2 for 5 with a double and an RBI. Here is Bosio, the number 3 hitter, who just coughed up that lead. Takes low. Offensively, Bosio is having a good game. 2 for 3 with a walk, a couple stolen bases, and a couple runs. Aino deals low. 2-0 the count on Bosio. Aino deals. This one is tapped to short. They go to second for 1. On to first. Not in time. A little bit too long there on the transfer and throw to first from Marrero. So score it technically 6-4-3, or really just 6-4. 1 out and 1 on now. So Bosio is at first, and Matt Feehan is the batter. 2 for 3 with a double, an RBI, a walk, and a run. Outside. 1-0 the count on Feehan. Again, it's now Bosio on first base. He already has 2 stolen bases. This one is grounded into left field. Base hit for Feehan. It'll be runners on first and second with 1 away. 3rd hit of the day for Feehan, and that'll bring up Rafi Mejia. 1 for 4 with 2 RBI and 1 run scored. That's a called strike to Mejia. 0-1 the count. Lead runner is going. Got him! They go to second. They don't get that runner. Bosio and Hackensack trying to push the envelope, and Luke Senator throws out a base runner trying to steal for the 2nd time today. That pitch is outside. So there are 2 outs now. There's a runner on second base. It is the go-ahead run for Hackensack. Aino deals. It's called strike 2, so a 2-2 count on Mejia. 2-2, 2 outs, runner on second. First extra inning here between Fort Lee and Hackensack. Swing and a miss! James Aino with a scoreless top of the 8th. Fort Lee needs 1 run to walk this one off. We'll be right back. So the stage is set for Fort Lee to get a dramatic win if they can score a run here in the bottom of the 8th inning. They trailed 7-4 going into the bottom of the 7th inning, rallied for 3 runs against Jason Bosio, who is still out there on the mound. It's going to be 6, 7, 8 in the Fort Lee order. Sango, Marrero, Park against Bosio. Nico Sango grounds this one foul. Having a really good day offensively, 1 for 1 with a walk, 1 RBI, and 1 run scored. The 1-1 pitch. Low. That one is fouled off, and it is a 2-2 count now on Sango. And Bosio's 2-2 pitch. Sent into right. It's a base hit. That's huge. Leadoff single for Nico Sango, and now Fort Lee can do a few different things here. One of their options is to bunt him over. You're only playing for 1 run after all. Marrero is 1 for 3 with a couple strikeouts and a hit by pitch. According to NJ.com, Nico Sango actually is the only Bridgeman with a bunt this year. He has 1 sacrifice hit. He's the runner on first. Marrero shows bunt, takes a ball. Ball in the dirt, but Sango does not go anywhere. So it's a 1-0 count on Marrero. I imagine he'll still be bunting here. Pulls it back, but takes a strike on the outside corner. Not sure what the point is of the trickery. The obvious play is to show bunt here. If you're going to do it anyway, you might as well just drop it down. He is still bunting. Gets it down. Pretty good bunt. Score that. Actually, I'm not sure if it was 1-3 or 1-4. Either way, Bosio flips to a fielder who records the out, but Sango advances to second, and the winning run is in scoring position for the Bridgemen. That will send us to the 8th spot in the order, and I believe this is Aino hitting for himself. A right-handed pitcher, Aino, a left-handed batter, and in fact, he is hitting for himself. Down in the count 0-1. Sends this one into shallow left. It's handled by Hernandez. So an F6, and that'll bring up the number 9 batter for Fort Lee. It's Gabe Lasval. 1 for 3 with a hit by pitch, a stolen base, and a run scored. Game-winning run is at second base, and the Fort Lee number 9 batter takes strike 1. This one is popped up in the infield. Hernandez handles that one as well. We will go to the 9th inning. Hackensack 7, Fort Lee 7, here at the Sugarman Sport Complex. Good practice today for the Fort Lee and Hackensack players, getting a 9-inning game in for those of them who will go on to play at the collegiate level. Luis Hernandez handling the last 2 putouts last inning. He is leading off here in the 9th inning. Hernandez will not get the win as the pitcher. As a batter, he is 1 for 4 with a double. James Aino is still out there. This one is sent to left center and is over Senator's head. Rolling almost all the way to the fence. Lasval getting it in. Luis Hernandez has a leadoff stand-up triple. So that puts the pressure on Fort Lee immediately. Infield will come in. Jacob Marmalejos, the batter. Struck out his last 2 times up, but is still 1 for 3 with an RBI and a walk as he takes a big swinging strike at Aino's offering. Outside to Marmalejos. 1-1 the count. That's going to be called a strike. And it's 1-2 with the go-ahead run 90 feet away. Swing and a miss. That's a huge out. Marmalejos has now struck out each of his last 3 times up. We'll go to the 8th spot in the order. And this is Castillo. It's not Godino or the guy who pinch hit for him the last time the 8th spot in the order came up. This is today's starting pitcher for Hackensack, John B. Castillo. He got DH'd for. Now he's in there as a pinch hitter. Takes ball 1 outside. Swing and a miss. 1-1 the count on Castillo. Hitting here with a runner on third and 1 out. Shows bunt. Pulls it back. Takes high. They have the runner in a pickle. Still in a pickle. And they got him. Luis Hernandez, a leadoff triple. He is erased after getting in a pickle. Like 7 Fort Lee defenders got in on that one. Really good job by the Bridgemen. That was pretty much textbook. Now there's 2 outs and no one on. Fort Lee can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief, as there is now nobody on. Umpires confer quickly. I believe it's a 2-1 count on Castillo. Aino looking to get out of the top of the 9th inning. Swing and a miss. 1 strike away. So that, in fact, did make it a 2-2 count. Aino deals. Swing and a miss. What a job by Aino and the Fort Lee defense to get out of the top of the 9th inning unscathed. Once again, Fort Lee playing for 1 run with a chance to walk us off as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Bocio is still in the game, but he's at third base, so he's no longer on the mound. I do not have a number 16 on my roster sheet. Hackensack and Fort Lee both having to dig a little bit deeper here down the roster pecking order than they maybe thought they would have had to coming into this one. 7-7 extra innings, plural, as we're now in the bottom of the 9th inning. Fort Lee has 1, 2, 3, and they just need 1 run. Luke Kim drills that one, foul. Fort Lee leadoff batter is 1 for 5 with an RBI. It'll be Kim, CJ Senator, and then Luke Senator. Fort Lee looking for a 6th straight win, and this would be one of the more exciting ones. Sent to left, and dropping in front of Oates. Base hit for Kim. He's now 2 for 6. So Fort Lee gets the leadoff runner on here in the bottom of the 9th inning. I do not believe CJ Senator is going to be bunting here, but let's see. Senator, 2 for 4 with a double, an RBI, a walk, and 3 runs scored. Let's see if Luke Kim is in motion. No, he's not. That pitch got away from the catcher. Advancing to second is Luke Kim. Outfield comes in for Hackensack with a runner in scoring position. It's a 1-0 count on the younger Senator brother. Make it a 2-0 count. So I believe that was a wild pitch that allowed Kim to go to second. Now CJ Senator ahead in the count, 2-0. Sent to left. Oates settling under it. Makes the play. Nowhere for Kim to go. He'll remain at second. So that'll bring up Luke Senator. 2 for 3 with a couple walks, one of which was intentional. And for the second time today, Hackensack is going to intentionally put Luke Senator on base. That does a couple things for you. You're now not facing a batter who's hitting about 500 this year, and also it sets up the double play. First and second, 1 out. Jack Dorcom himself 1 for 3 with an RBI and a couple walks. And he takes a ball. Jack Dorcom, the Fort Lee cleanup hitter today. An RBI single his last time up. He can end this one right here, and he was clearly trying to there. 1-1 the count. Time is called. The sun is still shining. It is now, well, not officially, but it is the spring, so we get lots of extra daylight, but the lights are on, just in case this one goes on too much longer. Fort Lee hoping it doesn't go on much longer at all. A 1-1 pitch coming to Dorcom. Ball 2. The winning run is in scoring position. They check the runner back. The runner at first only matters because, again, it keeps the double play alive for Hackensack. So they are just 1 ground ball away from sending us to the 10th inning. That's fouled off. So a 2-2 count on Dorcom. Greenberg on deck. The 2-2 gets a piece of Dorcom. Very pumped to get hit by a pitch because now the ball is in Fort Lee's court. All the pressure is on Hackensack. Bases loaded, so nowhere to put the batter. And the go-ahead run, the winning run, I should say, is at third base. Jacob Greenberg is the batter. He does not have a hit today, but he had an RBI when he walked with the bases loaded in the first, and he hit into a fielder's choice that got him another RBI. So he has 2 RBI today, 9 on the season, and he grounds this one into left field. Jacob Greenberg, the walk-off single for the Bridgemen. Three runs batted in for Greenberg, and he plays the hero today in the bottom of the 9th inning. Fort Lee beats Hackensack 8-7. It's a comeback victory for Pete Kraljick's squad. James Aino, a long relief outing. He will get the win. And Jacob Greenberg, the walk-off hero. Now 10 runs batted in on the season in 11 games. Fort Lee improves to 10-1. Hackensack falls to 6-6. Double-digit wins for Fort Lee, 6 in a row. Thank you to our proud Fort Lee Bridgemen Athletics sponsors. You see them on your screen now. Thank you to everyone who makes these streams happen. Shout out Dimitri Nanis. Thank you to Fort Lee Athletic Director Michael Raftery. Again, the Bridgemen, a comeback victory. It's a long one, but they defeat Hackensack 8-7 in 9 innings. I'm Tommy Aquilina saying so long, everybody. We will see you next time here on the Fort Lee Bridgemen Athletics stream.